Hey friends, Hattie here from Honeybee Stampers. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the projects that we created during today's Love is in the Air Sweet and Simple card class. This is a card class that I'm going to be hosting at the Honeybee Stamper Studio in Sumter, South Carolina on a monthly basis. Hopefully you guys can join us in on the next one. Now, for those of you who love to craft, but you don't live local to me, you can also choose the to-go option. So what the to-go option is it's the same price as the one in person and includes the shipping. You would get the packet here with all the projects cut and prepped for you. What's not included are the tools like the adhesives that you would need or scissors to put it together, and the stamps and the ink are not included as well. Now, the good thing is I have specifically designed these projects so that they're sweet and simple, and that you can actually substitute a lot of the stamps that I've used for things that you may already have on hand. So also as a part of the to-go option, you're going to get a video tutorial, which I'm going to do today, to show you step by step how to put the projects together. Anybody who's ordered the to-go option, I'll be putting them in the mail on Monday, and this video will be emailed to you as well. Okay, so let's get started on these cute, adorable projects. Let's start with this first one on top. This first card is just a sweet little Valentine card. And I did use some retired paper on here, but I always use, or I try to always use current stamp sets. So if you love the stamp sets, then you can actually purchase them from my online store. This is the stamp set called Sweet Conversations. We're going to use the Happy Valentine's Day and then this little heart here. These are distinctive, these images here, so I love that. It's got that photorealistic look to it, and distinctive stamps are probably some of my favorites. So when you get your kit, you're going to have everything that's part of the kit tucked away here in your envelope to include any of the embellishments that are used on the card. You only need a few supplies to create the card. So for instance, I like a bone folder. This is completely optional, but I always reach for my bone folder when I'm creating. So that's something that you can use. A pair of scissors would be handy, some adhesive here, also some glue dots. That's helpful. Oh, and then dimensionals. Can't forget the dimensionals. I always use dimensionals. So let's grab out our designer series paper. And I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this. Our DSP has two sides. So if you like this side better, if you prefer that side, of course you can use it. Let me just, I really like the hearts on the other side, so I'm gonna use that. Ooh, almost put glue on it. So you're just gonna add some adhesive. A little bit goes a long way. And center it on this real red mat. Like that. Okay. I included some ribbon here for you. So you're going to take and just tie a little bow on the side. I always have to focus so hard when I'm tying bows. All right. Pull that tight, and then you can kind of just work with it until you get it the way you want it. Okay, and I'm gonna slide this bow to the left. And let me go ahead and trim it. There we go. So cute. I'm gonna adhere this down. I usually like to stamp everything first and then start to assemble, but this card is so simple. I already know exactly what I want to do with it, so we'll add that adhesive. Make sure it opens in the right direction and just center it on the base of your card. Okay. There we go. Okay, now for the stamping. You're going to have a little die cut heart, and you'll grab this photopolymer stamp and Flirty Flamingo ink, which matches the base of the card. Stamp straight down and straight up. We had someone in the class wonder if that stamped correctly, and it did. It's distinctive, so a little bit more shading on the left side as versus the right, so that's okay. I love that look. We'll go ahead and adhere this to the heart. This heart punch is a double punch that's available in the annual catalog. I'll leave a link in the description below for my online store so you can shop some of the products that you see here if you enjoy them and want them for yourself. There we go. Now our little sentiment. You're just going to have a strip of basic white included. I'm going to take some real red ink. This is one of our older ink pads, so it opens a little differently than what our new ones do. Ink that up. So when you're inking, you just tap, tap, tap. Not a whole lot of pressure is needed. And I'm just going to stamp straight down and straight up. Oops. Pushed a little bit too hard and I rocked it. So let me try that again. Okay, just like that. Okay, much happier with that one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. So the white strip that you're going to get is a lot bigger than you need. So just trim it down with a pair of scissors. If you don't feel like you can cut a straight line, of course you can use a little paper trimmer. Completely up to you. I wanted this strip to be thin enough so that you can see most of the heart that's behind it. Okay. There we go. I'm going to pop this up using dimensionals, and then I don't have our mini dimensionals with me, so I'm going to use our regular ones and just cut the edges of it, and gives a nice small dimensional that you can use. There we go. It is such a beautiful day today in Sumter. I'm so excited to go out and enjoy it in just a little bit. Okay, let me actually put, well, I think that'll work. We're going to just stick that right across there, just like that. I actually made this a little bit smaller than my original. I like the way they both look, so it's going to be completely up to you. And then let's add some dimensionals on the back of this heart. Got to pull the backings off, and then you stick that heart right in the middle of your card, and that card is done. Oh, it's not done. We got to put our little gems on there. So you're going to have some little gems. These are our rhinestones, basic rhinestones that you can find in the catalog, and they're adhesive backed, so they've got some adhesive already on it. I had a little smudge right there, so let's cover that up. And we got a big one here that I want to use. I'll tell you that our take your pick tool that has the putty on the end, so much easier to use with our gems and our embellishments than these scissors, but I forgot to grab it, so we're just gonna have to go with what we've got. Okay, there we go. Now that card is done. That's card number 1. So when you come to class, you're gonna get your kit, or if you get it in the mail, you'll get it mailed to you with 6 projects, okay? You also have a piece that looks like this. This is just the inside piece, so you can decorate this however you'd like. You could put another message in here, but this is just a way for you to write a message to the recipient. Okay, here's our next card. Well, let me grab the bucket that has this one. Here's what the card is going to look like. I'll set it off to the side so you can reference it. The card base this time is Rich Raspberry. This card is super easy to put together. You're going to get some of the Specialty Designer Series paper that you can see has some gold. And we're going to add a little adhesive on the side. Okay. And there we go. Oopsie. This liquid adhesive will allow you to kind of move things around. But when you don't want it to move around, you got to be careful. Okay, so then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I just want some of it sticking out. Okay, almost there. There we go. Okay, now that I've got that, it's looking good, I'm going to actually adhere it to the front of my card base. So we'll add some adhesive on the ends here. Okay. And what I like to do is make sure that I line up the DSP at least with the top. Actually made this a little bit crooked. It's handmade, right? And then if I have some sticking out of the bottom, which, oh, I don't, I would just trim it off just like that. Okay, so there's that. If we go back to our envelope, we're gonna have some more extra little pieces in here. Great. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp on this. This sentiment says, "Love you so much." It comes from the Flowering Tulips stamp set. This is a brand new stamp set in the Spring Mini Catalog 2022, and it is beautiful. I love all the font. I love the flowers, and if you see the dies are amazing because they make 3D tulips. So I just recently used that stamp. So pretty. But we're going to use this one. Love you so much. So many great sentiments in that stamp set. And we're going to use the same Rich Raspberry so that it all coordinates and looks good together. And I'm just going to ink it up. Since it's photopolymer, you can see right through it and line it up exactly where you want it. Stamp straight down, and there you go. Okay, so that was a really easy stamping one. See, I told you guys that it was really simple. And then we're going to take some of our glue dots, or one of our glue dots. And I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back of this little heart. And I want to stick it on this heart. Little mama and baby heart. There we go. I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of this heart. Right there. So that I can stick it on there. There we go. And then I'll just add some adhesive and put this down. Okay. These dies right here are from our So Sentimental die set. It's one that I reach for very often. They make just the cutest little labels and tags, and oh, it's just great. Add some dimensionals on here. Pop off the back of those and just center that on the front of the card. There we go. Now we've got these beautiful gems. These are our iridescent rhinestones. These are current right now. You can get these. They're so popular. They've actually sold out and come back in stock recently, so I'm glad about that. I'm actually going to stick one down here. I like to try to do rules of 3 whenever I can when it comes to embellishing my cards. So you're going to get 3 little embellishments. And again, these have the adhesive on the back of them as well. So that'll make your life so much easier. Let's get this little guy. Where do I want to put this one? I guess we'll just stick it right here. Sometimes with this particular die, I like to put a little gem right here and right here. And so instead of doing 3, I just do 2, but we'll leave it like that for now. Okay, so that card's done. Card number 2, all done. So cute. Again, you're gonna have that white piece that goes on the inside that you can decorate and write. Okay, what's our next card? Here's our third card. This one is super sweet and simple. So a lot of the prep work has been done for you on these cards. So like this card right here, you can see has quite a bit of beautiful detail. This is new product that's in the current spring mini catalog. It's the Love and Happiness bundle. So there's dies, it's a hybrid. So there's dies and embossing folder, and then the stamp set. The stamp set has all of these great sentiments. This is actually a great stamp set to have just in your arsenal, period, because of the sentiments. So I actually let the attendees choose. The one that I designed with is To the One I Love, but a couple of them use the Valentine greetings. So you can do that as well. Pick something different. I really like the way this font looked, so I'm gonna just use that. And this is a die that comes as part of that set. So let's put this together. Very simple. We're gonna use some real red again for this. And this is not a photopolymer stamp set. So if you wanna practice to make sure that you're stamping the sentiment straight, you can always do that on a piece of grid paper or something. I'm just gonna eyeball it for now. And I'm just gonna stamp on this little die cut. Okay, it's a little off, but we'll go with it. I just love that die cut. And there's even one that's just a little bit tinier that fits all these little tiny ones, like for my wife or for my husband. So super cute. I thought there was one that said for my husband. Oh, there it is. I thought I was seeing things. Okay, so for this card, we're gonna fold the card base in half. Okay, and with this one right here, what I did was I just embossed up a strip of it. I stuck this in the embossing folder just part of the way through and ran it through to design this card. We're just gonna add some adhesive here. I want to spread this out because I don't want it to bubble my cardstock. Okay. I'm going to center this on the card here. Okay. And you're going to get a heart that I've already die cut and embossed. There you go. And we'll add some dimensionals to this sentiment. Actually, let me go ahead and stick my heart down first, and then we'll put our sentiment on. This embossing folder, I just can't even tell you how pretty it is. And I've actually seen in the catalog where they've taken and colored in some of those raised flowers. So this time, I think I'm gonna put it, no, I like it in the middle. We'll keep it in the middle, just like that. Okay. And then right over it. And that card, oh, is almost done. We've got some little pearls to stick on there. And what I decided to do was take these little tiny pearls, if I can get them, and I stuck them over the center of some of the flowers. And I just felt like that made it just so much prettier. Okay, so here's a flower here. Right? And then let's pick one more flower. Let's see here. We'll do this one. Oh, no, let's do this one. Okay, there. Now this card is done with those pretty pearl embellishments. Here's your inside piece. And we'll set this card aside. We're halfway through. Okay, what's our next card? Aha, this one. This one was fun. So this is the card that we created. It says, "Hello, Fabulous." It's from the Dress to Impress stamp set that's in the actual annual catalog. Just set that over there. Okay. And this is such a beautiful melon mambo and so saffron color combination. So there's, of course, two sides. You can decide which one you like best. I really like the roses, so we're going to use that. Add some adhesive here. We'll center that on our So Saffron. This is the inside of the card. I'm just going to tuck that away for now, even though you could, of course, stamp and decorate it however you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and put this down as well. Okay. And again, same with this. If you line it up on one end, okay, then if it's hanging off, it's very easy to trim. If you see it hanging off the edge here, you can just come in here and trim the excess off. Great. Okay, and then we'll stick this down. I like the way it looks when it's just kind of tilted to the side there. Okay, let's get our stamping on. So, get some of these ink pads out of my way. Okay. For this one, we're going to use the coordinating colors, the So Saffron and the Melon Mambo. All of these are current colors that you can order out of our catalog if you need to, or off my online store. There's this little splotchy image here. You can use that to color in some of these. You can use this to color in the kind of like a watercolor look. So anyways, I'm just going to use it as a background for the words. Stamp right in the middle. And ink up our sentiment and stamp that down. I just think that is so pretty. I love how it has that swash of color in the background. We'll take and add this little flower here. So I'm going to stamp it this way this time. I stamped it the other way. I just want to see how it looks. I don't think you could go wrong with this. And then we're going to add some dots. Okay. Let's add a few down here too. There we go. Oopsie. You can't stamp without getting your finger in the ink. All right, and then we're just gonna pop this one up. This is probably the most simple card of the bunch. Take these off. And add it right there. Okay, there we go. Hello, Fabulous. Love it. So cute. All right, card, next card. All right, this card right here. Oh, I actually have embossing for the next two cards, so we'll do that very easily. Let's see here. So this is current designer series paper. It's part of the new sweet, let me think of what it's called. The Sweet Conversation. No, it's called Sweet Talk. Sweet Talk, sweet. And it's just so beautiful. So let's go ahead and we'll stamp first this time. So you're going to have a real red strip here, and I wanted to use the sentiment from this stamp set, Blessings of Home. It says here, what a beautiful day for love. I love that. These were all love-themed cards. The Sweet and Simple card class is going to be mostly all occasion cards going forward, but every once in a while I kind of want to theme it up. So that's why we did that this month. Oh, let me show you the card that we're creating. So here's the card. Isn't it gorgeous? I just think that is so stinking cute. So we're going to go ahead and heat emboss this. So in order to heat emboss, you can use a embossing buddy. I actually don't tend to reach for this. We don't carry this anymore, and I am able to emboss without any problem. But what this is designed for is it's got some material in here, I think it's cornstarch, that keeps the static away, so that when you ink up your stamp and you stamp it down, then only the embossing powder sticks on the area that you inked up and stamped. So we're going to take the sentiment, what a beautiful day, and tap it onto our Versamark ink pad. I'm going to stamp this kind of to the right here, towards the right. Stamp straight down, okay, and straight up. And you'll see, maybe you can see in the camera, that there's that sticky, glossy ink from the Versamark. And then you're going to bring in your embossing powder. So I like to store my embossing powders in here, in these little Tupperware containers. This is a white embossing powder. And I just like to shimmy and shake the embossing powder onto my card and then tap off the excess like that. So you'll see that what the embossing powder has stuck to is just where the sentiment is because of that Versamark sticky ink. Now we're going to take this and we're going to heat emboss it. So you need a heat tool that you would run over. I'm just going to do it off camera here because my cord won't reach. And I just want to show you, for those of you who are new, I'm hoping you can see this, that I've embossed the day and the love, like part of that, it's embossed, and it'll be shiny and kind of like it's melted together. You can see it in the beautiful. The U and the L have been embossed, but the rest of it needs embossing. So you want to make sure it's raised and shiny and it looks like it's melted, so that you know that the heat embossing is complete. Okay, there we go. So once you've done that, you've got this beautiful embossed, I really can't get the camera to show you guys how pretty that is. Okay, so there we go. Now this is a die from the Sweet Talk Suite, and I'm just gonna fold it over, yeah, to make like a little envelope. And to stick it closed, I'm gonna use a glue dot. So we'll do that. Add a little glue dot right there. You could use liquid adhesive and just kind of hold it for a while if you want to, or you can try to use some tape if you wanted to. Okay, and then this little die cut heart is already done for you. It is Highland Heather, and we're going to use Highland Heather ink right on top of it. So this heart is also a distinctive heart, very similar to the one we used earlier from the Sweet Conversations, but it's just a little bit smaller. Okay, so you can see that I've stamped that color on color. So what you can do is you can actually add the heart onto the envelope like I did there, or you can have it coming out of the top of the envelope, completely up to you. I really liked how it looked on top, so we'll probably stick with that. Okay, let's start assembling. So here's the other side of the paper. If you prefer this side, you can of course use that side. Now, when you're using designer series paper, this is when you really have to be careful with how much liquid glue that you use. Otherwise, excuse me, your card or your cardstock is gonna buckle a little bit. Okay, let's center that on here. I love the liquid adhesive because it gives you a little bit of time to move things around and shift things. So this is also part of that designer series paper. But I've die cut these using our stitched rectangles. So if you look closely, you can see that there's some stitching around the edges. We're just gonna center that directly on the card. Okay, add some adhesive here. Uh-oh. And I'm gonna stick our little envelope to the side. And let me add some dimensionals here to this heart. And we're gonna stick that over the top. We'll pop this whole thing up with dimensionals. And center that onto the card front. There we go. And I've also already tied the twine for you, so you guys will be able to just take the twine, add a little glue dot. I like to use glue dots for ribbons and twine. It just seems like it holds better for me, in my opinion. Okay, and we'll just stick that on our card like so. Okay, these beautiful little gems, they're so pretty. These are actually in our annual catalog. I'm drawing a blank as to the name of these right now. I can't remember. I just know that I love them. They've got little flecks of iridescent inside of them, and they just, we'll stick this one up here instead. Okay, they're so pretty. Can you guys see that? They remind me of like a mood ring. So here is the 5th card. Super simple, has a unique open to it, like that. And you just, the white piece that you have will go in there on the inside. I say this all the time because I'm doing my video at my studio right now, and I'm near a road, a busy road, and there are the loudest cars here in Sumter, South Carolina, ever. Or at least they are when I'm shooting a video. They're super loud. Okay, let's grab our very last card. This is a beautiful card, perfect for a wedding. When you get your kit, you're gonna get a piece that looks like this, but I'm gonna ask that you fussy cut around it so that it looks like this, okay? So you guys can see the difference. I just wanted to point that out to you. So what fussy cutting means is taking a pair of scissors and just cutting around the image. And you wanna leave a little bit of a white border around the image to make it look nice. The eyes are drawn to the actual image versus the jagged lines that you've cut if you cut it too close, okay? So you see how I'm doing that there. And then it would just basically look like this. So just heads up about that. This is also some embossing that we're gonna do. So if you wanna use your embossing buddy, you can put some embossing powder on there. And the sentiment that I'm using is from the Forever Blossoms. I actually got a chance to present this suite of products on stage in Atlanta, Georgia a few years ago, and It was really exciting to be able to share this with all my co-demonstrators or all my demonstrator friends. And so I dragged it out to be able to use the Always and Forever stamp. We're going to use Versamark ink. Ink this up. And I'm going to, again, stamp kind of closer to the right-hand side because I want to add my image to the left. This time, instead of using white embossing powder, we're going to use silver. Oops, that's not silver. Okay. So you could probably see that stickiness there. That's where the sentiment is. You're just going to shimmy and shake. And tap off or flick off the excess. Okay, looks good. Now you'll really be able to see this change when I do it. So you can see right now it's just the powder on here. It's amazing how that powder is only where the Versamark was. Okay, now you can see here that it's starting to melt. So on the very end, it's shiny and raised, and then on the left-hand side of the sentiment, it's still got that dull gray. Okay, so that means that needs to be melted yet. Heat embossing is really, honestly, what got me started in paper crafting, because I just thought that was the most amazing little trick ever. So let's fold our base, cardstock base, in half. Depending on how I ship these, I may fold your cardstock bases for you so it just ships a lot easier. We'll soon see. Okay, so I'm going to layer. Now, whenever I'm adding adhesive to something, I always add adhesive the smallest piece, to the largest piece. So this is smaller than my card base, so I'm going to put the adhesive on the back of this one and then apply it to the card base. Isn't that beautiful? It's got little silver speckles all over it. Okay, let me center this on my card. This DSP, you'll see when you get it, is a specialty DSP, so it's very sturdy. Very, very sturdy. Okay. You're going to have a piece of vellum and then a piece that has been punched out or die cut and then embossed. Isn't that beautiful? So if you want to show off that embossing, you absolutely can. You can leave it like this. I just kind of liked having this softness to the back of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pop this up onto the vellum. So I'm going to center it onto the vellum first. Any kind of adhesive that you use on vellum will show through. So you want to always make sure that you are placing your adhesive in a just inconspicuous place on your vellum. So there's that. And then we're just going to add. So when I go in to add the glue here, I'm just going to put the glue right in the middle. And these circles are essentially the same size. So you'll just stick it on there like that. Okay. I'm gonna, oh, you know what I forgot to do? Actually, I made a mistake here already. I actually wanted my cake to go on top. Sorry, guys. I hope you're watching first before you start stamping. I wanted my cake to go on top of this sentiment. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is just trim this off. So, for those of you who are watching and creating, make sure that you put your cake on your sentiment and then on your vellum, okay? There we go. We were able to save it. Now let's add some adhesive to the back here. And I want this to kind of bump up against the right-hand side. There we go. Oops, it's a little crooked. Again, that's the beauty of using the liquid glue, is that you can maneuver it a little bit before it completely sets. Okay, this card is a lot simpler than I just made it look, but you want to emboss here and then take your strip and have the cake placed on top of it. And then you put that on the vellum piece, okay? Yeah, so there's that. All right, I hope that made sense. I did not include any embellishments on this one because I just felt like I did actually include a little ribbon. Let me see if I can find the ribbon. Okay, I don't know where my ribbon is for this one, this card. I'll make sure that you guys have your ribbon on yours though. But here is the finished card, and you can see that there's a little silver ribbon on there. I just added that on with the glue dot. So there are the 6 projects. Let me bring them in again. So for those of you who purchased the kit to go, remember that you can either get the items that I used on my online store, or you can just use product that you already have, okay? So let's get these out. Gotta find all the cards again. So we created 6 beautiful cards today. Love-inspired cards. There we go. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, I have a couple of these kits left. They're only $25, and that includes the shipping to you. It doesn't come with any of the stamps or the ink, but you can actually substitute with what you have. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if I can help you out in any way. All right, you guys. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention. If you do come to an in-person class here at Honeybee Stampers, I do offer these worker bee kits. They look like this. Okay, and you'll get your name on it and everything. And inside are all the products, so some adhesive, some of the glue dots, your scissors, your bone folder, all the things and all the tools that you need to create the projects here at the studio. And you can either take it with you and bring it back each time for class, or you can leave it right here and then you have it ready to go. So if you're interested in a worker bee kit, reach out to me and let me know that too. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye-bye.